Hey everyone, it's Michael Valtos from Orderflows.com here, and this is the Orderflows market analysis for Thursday, June 8, 2017. And what an interesting day with the James Comey testimony. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, as far as a TV or movie script. And you also had the UK general election, and you also had the ECB rate announcement. ECB rate announcement came out as expected, nothing happened, and we're still waiting for the election results coming in, but right now Britain is kind of in uncertainty. I think he's going to end up with a hung parliament, and the pound is diving. So anyway, let's jump into it. Before I get started, brief disclaimer. This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only, should not be considered a solicitation to buy or sell a futures contract or make any other type of investment decision. Futures trading contains substantial risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more than an initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. So, that said, it's the life of a trader is a difficult life at times. There's no guaranteed income. For example, today, I had a big argument with my wife, over money. She says, why don't you go back to a regular job where you got a stable income, rather than doing what I'm doing, where you're trading. It's not stable in the sense that every 15th or 30th of the month you get paid. I'm a big believer. Money comes, money goes, money comes back. It all goes around. And like I said, with trading, trading is being a trader is like having your own business, and it has to be run that way if you want to be successful at it. Now, again, nobody can guarantee that, your next trade is going to be profitable. It could be a losing trade. And, there are times that I lose, right? And, my wife, sometimes she doesn't understand that. She thinks, every trade is going to be a big winner, that, I go out and buy her a new BMW or a Mercedes. And, it's not like that. I tell her, trading is in a sense a job. I mean, it's not, I'll say, a full-time job in the sense where, you punch in at 9, you leave at 5, but rather, it's when you're there, you're focused on the market. You can't have distractions, in the sense that, oh, hey, let me ask you, what color do you like for the curtains, red or blue, things like that. When I'm trading, I tell her, I said, this is my time, okay? When I'm not in the office and the door's not closed, okay, then we can talk, and you can ask me questions about whatever, the car, or this or that, talk about the kids, things like that. But, when you're trading, said, that's the time, that's my time that I'm working. For some reason, some people, they don't respect it, so it's important to have a partner that respects what you do, I met my wife when I was working at JP Morgan, and he considered a high flyer there, and, it was consistent. You could spend money like water. And, now that you're trading for yourself, I'm trading for myself, it's a little bit different. I said, I keep reminding her, I said, you got to be a little bit frugal, because, I don't have this, guaranteed salary coming in. I don't have a bonus that's going to come in, hopefully come in. But, the big thing is, I don't have that guaranteed salary that no matter what, win or lose, I don't have to worry about, the car payment, the house payment, the kids' school. I don't have to worry about that when I'm working at JP Morgan. All that's, that's all taken care of. That stress is a little bit behind me. But, when you're trading for yourself, you do have that stress. And, it doesn't really get to me that much. It only gets to me when my wife nags at me about it. I hate to use the term nag, but sometimes that's what it feels like. But anyway, I'm going off on a rant. Basically what I'm trying to say, treat trading as a job, or more importantly, treat your trading as a business, and run it that way. You're not going to run a business and just, spend money willy-nilly anyhow. No, you're going to be very, you're going to be checking, every single penny that comes in. Right? You're going to be, accounting for every single thing. So, again, when I'm working at bank, I got a lot of money coming in, in the form of regular pay that, yeah, sure, whatever, you want to spend $200 on a shirt, go ahead, I don't care. Now it's like, well, you got to spend $200 on a shirt, you get the same shirt for $30, what's the difference? Life's a little bit different when you're trading for yourself, and, your future your future lifestyle depends on how well you're trading. So again, there's nothing wrong with being frugal. I'm extravagant and I'm frugal at the same time. Go figure. But treat your trading as a business, and and hopefully the people that your partners in life, whether it's your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, explain it to them so that they understand, right? And they're not giving you extra pressure in trading, because again, trading is stressful enough. You don't need outside influences that are going to bring you down. So anyway, that said, my little rant for the day. Tools I use in this presentation: the Orderflows Trader volume footprint chart, which is my chart that I use, and the Delta Scalper, which is a tool that reads the delta for traders. So let's jump right in. Okay, so first market I'll talk about is E-minis. Now today is the roll, Thursday. Well, it starts. So Friday, I think you should be looking at the September S&P contract. But that said, I'm still looking at June on Thursday. So you hit your high here, 617. You got the Delta Scalper giving a sell. You get a little bit of a sell-off. Now at this point, coming into 8 o'clock, you had a very tight range, 36 3/4 high, 30.5 low. So we're only talking, basically 5-point range. And I did think the market was going to move, although you did have the ECB came out, did nothing as expected. The British election is not going to happen. Results aren't going to be coming out until after the markets close anyway. And the James Comey testimony, which, depending on who you ask, is everyone's, personally me, I think he's just full of a bunch of crap. And who isn't going to be angry at their boss that you lost your job? I just find it very strange, the whole circumstances. Again, people that know me know I'm a big Trump supporter, and I just find it ironic. These Democrats, they say, one day they don't like Comey, the next day he's anti-Trump and he's great, and back and forth. Just a lot of flip-flopping. But anyway, like I said, it's just great television. You can't make this stuff up. Great drama. It's just unfortunate that we gotta live with it as part of our daily lives. So anyway, I wasn't sure how that was going to affect the market, and if anything, I expected the market to kind of quiet down during the early parts of his testimony, and it kind of did. I said early 6:30, it did have the Delta Scalper giving a sell. It went a little bit lower, hit the opening price, came back up. Delta Scalper almost around the same level. This is 34.5 to 35. Earlier it was 35.5 to 36. So this is 847. Nice Delta Scalper signal. Trade right down into lows, new lows. Look at all these selling imbalances. 3 here, 3 in this bar. Boom, boom. Every bar had selling imbalance. You hit this low down here. Now I remember in the room, I was looking at this, and I was helping. I said I'm a bit hesitant, on this buy, on this Delta Scalper buy, for the sole reason that it's already 8:55. Testimony is people are going to be watching it. They're not going to be paying attention to me. I know, I'll be honest, I confess in the room. I had one eye on I was watching the live stream on YouTube, and, one eye on the market. So I do think people were a little preoccupied just watching to see what was going on with the circus. And, we did sort of slow down. We did rally though, and started hanging around the opening price for quite a while here. Another Delta Scalper buy, but again, we're just sort of hanging around here for the next 20 minutes. We do come down, make new lows, sort of rally back up again. At this low, you have a ratio with divergence. Now, I told you yesterday in order flow, if you just pick one thing, pick ratio with divergence, and it's going to treat you very well. And you had a nice rally here. Okay, it just went straight up, straight up, straight up. I'll say straight up. Go up, go sideways, go up, go sideways, all the way up into new highs. Later. Up here, you have a divergence. It's borderline ratio. I use 0.7. This is 0.7068, so it's like a hair past a ratio. Again, you could take it if you want, but ratios are not lines in the sands. They are guidelines. Okay, if you're watching it, 0.7068 is very close to 0.7000. So again, if you took it, great. If you didn't, okay, that's fine. You get other opportunities. And what happens? This market goes up to 39, and we sell all the way back down to below the opening price. Get all the way down to 30. And you did go lower though, but I mean, it's a nice trade from going back here where you have your first one, your ratio with the divergence. You rally up to your high. You get a borderline ratio. Whether or not you take this, you already had a nice 10-point move, basically 8-point move, and now you're coming back down again, another 10-point move. I mean, that's just two trades right there. It makes your day. Later, again, we just sort of went sideways. It's kind of a slow grind there towards the end of the day. Okay, next up, 5 years. 5 years and bonds were kind of quiet most of the morning. We did have this nice sell-off though. Just after 826, you get up within a few ticks of your high. You got ratio, some nice imbalances here, 1300, 2000, 3000, 4000. You got ratios all the way down here. Nothing really actionable there. You hit this low, you have a divergence, then you got, 3 imbalances. They're not stacked, but it's 3 in a bar, which is, relatively, something to keep an eye out for, that maybe the market's got some buying coming in. It's a bit scattered. And then, Comey testimony came out and we just went sideways. This is 916 all the way up until basically 115. Then we got a little bit of a pop higher. In the evening session though, we did trade higher. I think that's more as the election results started coming in, but for the most part during the day it was pretty flat. And then again, just really quick, ratio with the divergence on this high in the evening session, and you have a nice sell-off there. Really quick, the bonds. Hey, where's my bond chart? Give me a sec. Here it is. Again, bonds also, very similar in the sense that kind of a quiet morning. We did have the high here. We had a ratio with a divergence right here on the low at 723. You did rally up from your low to your high again, where you got a ratio of 25.75. It's not a ratio I like. I used to actually use 25. I've widened it out a few years ago to 30 with the divergence. It did come back and make a new high here by a couple of ticks, and then made the sell-off that same sell-off that you saw in the 5 years. Not really much to alerting you on this sell-off, unfortunately, in the order flow. You come down here, you got a point of control near the bottom. You got a ratio with the divergence. So you got divergence followed up in the no ratio that you like, but the next bar you had a ratio. So you got ratio and divergence in the next bar. And unfortunately, it just went sideways on you. I mean, it did, poke a little bit higher, but I mean, again, you're getting along somewhere around, 04 at 924. And, an hour later, it's still trading around 04. It's, I would have thrown in the towel. We did get a little bit higher here. Delta Scalper gave a sell, but again, we're just sort of going sideways at this point. I mean, did it go lower a little bit? Not much. In the night session though, we did drift higher. We had that high just before 8 o'clock Chicago time with a ratio but no divergence. Next market we'll look at is the British pound. Euro currency. And Euro currency, it's going to be kind of difficult because you do have the ECB rate announcement, so you're going to get a lot of volatility. 6:45, and then obviously the press conference afterwards. That's why you see not much. It's just all ones and zeros in there because there's no liquidity at that time when the rate announcement comes out. But just going back earlier in the morning, just be careful with trading divergences by themselves, because you see you got divergence that fails, divergence, another few divergences that fail. On trending days, you're going to get failed divergences, and if you're just buying every single every divergence on the way down, you're going to get your head handed to you. Okay, so anyway, what I want to talk about is 6:45 is the announcement, and then obviously you have the press conference that comes out later. I mean, there are signals in there, but again, it's going to be difficult trading that, because by the time you say, hey, I want to buy this here, the time you get filled, you're already 10 ticks away from your entry price. But it was, where was it here? Things pretty much slowed down after 8 o'clock. So I'll just take a look at 8-ish. think there was something I wanted to talk about. So, okay, so I mean, things are kind of quieting down a little bit. You know, here you got the Delta Scalper giving a sell, swing high here. You hit 25, first time you hit at the high, second time 3. I like when you get less volume the second time around, and you sell off, you know, quite nicely. You do rally up a little bit. You know, you go from the 30 area, 31 area down into the 15 area before you bounce up a bit here, and you go back down. Now, again, you got this Delta Scalper giving a buy here, but it's red candle. I'm not interested in it. Here you got Delta Scalper giving a buy. Did it work? No, it failed. I mean, it did go up initially, but then it failed. It came right back down. Came right back down. You got a bunch of selling, stack selling imbalances, one right after the other here. Here you have a stack buying imbalance. But again, you know, if you have a stack buying imbalance and you get a stack selling imbalance within the zone, it's very bearish because you have, you know, I've explained it before. I'm not going to say why, but here, basically, you know, when you get a stacked imbalance within the next few bars, you get a stacked imbalance going the other direction, go in the other direction, and you know, you get a nice move down right towards your low. Get within a tick of your low before you rally back up. You know, then you get this Delta Scalper giving a sell here. You know, this is right around the 26 area where you sell off down to the 18 area. You know, Delta Scalper buy, that one didn't work. Then here you got a nice Delta Scalper buy. You get the swing low right here. You got a ratio. You got this Delta Scalper buy around the, you know, it's kicking in. You'd be getting in somewhere in the next bar around 15, 14. And what happens? The market just starts taking off. This is, you know, it happens about 12:39. You know, an hour. I say an hour, but yeah, about an hour later, you know, you're trading, you know, in the 30s. So you know, that was a nice trade. And overnight, right now, we at this point, you know, we are coming off here. So anyway, that was the euro currency. And I'll take a look at crude really quick. I can't remember if there's anything. I know there's some interesting stuff, but let me just see if I could find it really quick here. Where am I here? Crude oil. So again, you got a Delta Scalper giving you a buy here. This one didn't work out. It started going up, came right back down. Then here you got Delta Scalper giving another buy. And you get a little pop up. Delta Scalper then gives the sell signal, and it goes lower, 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 lower into new lows. And again, this is sort of what I was talking about the day before, right? You have a trade, it's a losing trade. Then if you're kicking yourself thinking, oh, you know, I'm going to wait, then you miss the next trade that's a winner. And then maybe, you know, or maybe you break even on this trade and you think, you know, I'm not going to take the next trade, and you miss this trade. You know, you miss getting short here at 52, and next thing you know, it sells off to new lows, you know, in the mid 20s, and you're kicking yourself, oh, why didn't I take it? You know, the trading sucks. But I mean, it's about sticking with, you know, your analysis. Here you got a ratio with the divergence. It came down, made a new low by 2 ticks before you popped up, and just went, you know, went higher. You know, does it suck that, you know, you had a ratio with divergence and it came down, stopped you out? Maybe, you know, if you have your stop right below this bar and stopped you out, you know, maybe you're a little bit wider on your stop. Who knows? But yeah, it sucks. You know, the market hasn't quite found its low. Unfortunately, it does find its low 2 ticks lower before putting in the big rally from, you know, the 30 area all the way up to the, you know, where to get all the way up into the 70s, 80s, you know, even higher. Here's Delta Scalper giving a sell. I'm not interested in it because it's a green bar. If it's a sell, I want to see a red bar. And, you know, up here at the swing high, you got a nice Delta Scalper sell, followed by the Delta surge here. And but really, you know, this is the bar to take the trade off of. So, you know, you should be getting short around the, you know, 45, 96, 97 area. And, you know, it trades all the way down to the 60s before working its way back up. So there's some interesting things in the crude. Again, Delta Scalper giving a sell here. Again, depending on where your stop is, did you get stopped out here? Who knows? You know, but then it finally made its move. You know, here you got Delta Scalper buy. You can see that here. Just sort of went sideways on you to the close. Okay, I'll look at Japanese yen really quick. Where am I here? Okay. I want to go back here. Okay. Where was it that I wanted to talk about? So again, delta scalper buy, but it's on a red bar. I'm not interested on it. You come down into these lows. You got a ratio with the divergence. Starts going up, but then it turns around. You got a stack buying imbalance followed by a stack selling imbalance. Almost 2 bars later, go with this, and it's 9 o'clock where things are starting to happen. We do sell off a bit lower. You come down here, you've got a divergence, no ratio that you like. Unfortunately, comes up here, you got this double top. Up here you got a ratio on the second bar, and point of control near the top, which by this bar by itself, I'd find this bearish. Does it sell off? Not really. Just goes sideways. But then you come up in here, you got a few bearish signs. You got delta scalper, stack selling imbalance, delta scalper. Delta scalper again, but the market's not going anywhere. It's at that time where it's 10 o'clock is basically around the European close time. You don't necessarily get a lot of movement. You get a lot of sideways action. At this point, I was waiting to see, is this market going to go sideways or what? I really wasn't seeing much happening in the order flow to really give me direction one way or the other. And then you just didn't really get it. Asia, it did have some nice movements during Asia. Japanese yen, Aussie dollar are markets you can trade during the Asian market with generally decent liquidity. I mean, the problem is the Aussie dollar doesn't necessarily move that much. It's got very good liquidity, but sometimes you just don't get movements. This is the Aussie dollar here. It's got nice liquidity, you can see, during Asia, but the movements aren't that great. I mean, sometimes they are. I mean, obviously there's Aussie data that comes out, but in general, it's not necessarily a market that it's as volatile as, say, the euro currency or the Jap yen. So anyway, I'm not fuck it. I'll just talk about British pound really quick if I can find it. Why not? Again, you have the UK general election, and I'm not going to talk about the night session right now. Let's go back to the day session. Where are we here? Let's go back a bit here. So again, you got ratio with divergence. You got delta scalper here, doesn't work out, make new low by 2 ticks, and you got ratio with divergence, and it just goes sideways on you. Unfortunately, again, people always ask, how do you know when to get out? Well, I'll be honest with you. You get into a trade, the next 3 bars is the same price levels going sideways. Get out. Wait for a market that's going to move. You're looking for something to happen, and it's not happening. So, over time, the trade reason for being in the trade loses its effectiveness. Don't stay in a trade thinking it's going to go eventually. Instead, it should happen. If it doesn't happen, get out. Then you get these lows here. This is 7 just before 8 o'clock. Ratio, no divergences. Then you get divergences as you made new lows. Again, I have this O2X trade. You got a low with a ratio. Try and buy it, within 2 ticks off the low. Might not have gotten it here, but you could have gotten it here for a little bit of a pop higher. Then, a bit later, you get the swing high. Nice one. With the delta scalper, negative delta, single print right up there. And, it's a nice move from 129.50, all the way down to, down to the 30s, where you got a delta scalper giving you another buy here. And it sort of works its way back up. And then, obviously, later, this is already late in the day, about 3 o'clock Chicago time. Beans, I'll talk about beans really quick, because there was something that was developing. I had bigger expectations out of it. It didn't necessarily happen, unfortunately, but where was it? Here. So 8:30, they reopen. Start making new highs here. Not ratio with divergence, a little bit of a sell-off, about 2 cents if that. Got a bunch of divergences that failed here. Then you got a delta scalper right here off the high. Again, I was very encouraged by this. I thought, maybe we can make a move. This bar came right back up, but then here you got a ratio bounds low, indicating some stopping volume. At this point, I was looking for this market to sell off down into 937s, 936. It doesn't. It just comes right back up and makes new highs. So my analysis on that was wrong. I was expecting the market to rally and it didn't. I'm expecting the market to sell off and it rallied instead. Got up here to this new high. Yeah, again, there's not much in there. I like this. I think there was some trap traders up in this area in here around the 943.5 area, and it was a nice sell-off. I like this bar here with the imbalance, buying imbalance there. Then you got the single print coming right back up to that area. So, you know, we got heavy volume there. We're testing that area back here. You got a single print, so I know there's price rejection, and then the market puts a nice little move lower down to this 937 area. But honestly, I was expecting this move here that happened here. I expected that to happen right after this Delta scalper. It didn't. It still had a new high to make before it made that. But again, there were some signs in here that, you know, you could be looking to get short. You don't have a stack selling imbalance here, but you got 3 imbalances in the bar. Again, you know, just because they're not stacked on top of each other doesn't mean it's not effective. You know, that's one of the beauties of order flows. You could see that, right? I mean, you know, if I wanted to, I could have my programmer say, hey, you know, if over a certain percentage of the bar is imbalances, you know, draw something there. But you don't need to. I mean, you use your eyes. You know, you could process that. That's important to note. You know, you're right off of your high, and you got aggressive selling coming in with 3 imbalances in a bar that has 5 price levels. So over half the bar is aggressive selling, and the market moves lower. You know, I mean, that's not brain surgery. You know, that's just common sense market analysis of order flow. So anyway, guys, you know, thanks for watching this video. And you know, if you're interested in learning more about order flow, visit my website, orderflows.com, and again, subscribe to my channel, and hope to see you on the inside. Bye bye.